Hey everyone, it's Neil again, back on the EndlessPens channel. The reason I'm back is because I did another Hatch collaboration, this time on a Cypress pen. This one's pretty crazy, and it's actually, I think, don't quote me on this, I think the most premium, like, higher end pen they've ever collaborated on. I could be wrong, but once you see the work that went into this, it's pretty crazy. Going straight into this, you have a paper sleeve outside of your bamboo box. All Cypress pens, at least all the ones I've bought, come in a really nice magnetic top bamboo box. These are just fantastic. Such a nice little thing they don't have to do. On the inside of this box, however, there's something unique in here. There is a sleeve. There's actually 3 designs for these sleeves. It's gonna be random who gets what. I have the yellow one here. It also comes in red and it comes in blue. It's hard to say what my favorite is. Honestly, they all look so good, but this yellow one to me is really nice. I love the shiny metallic threading on all of them, so you get really nice effects in the light. It's really nice. On the inside though is where we have my design, and here it is. So this is just crazy. I don't even have words to fully describe how crazy this is. So looking straight at this, you can already tell it's just stunning. So you have this red material at the top, which I'm told is either gold leaf that's dyed or opal powder that's dyed, down to some raden for these light rays. You have some doves on here, which look fantastic. And then you have these raden wings on the doves that wasn't part of my original design. I actually had the doves in all eggshell, and they came back and said, we can do the wings in raden. And I was like, you can do what? Of course we did that. It's just awesome. And continuing down from that, you have your devil hand, which is reaching up with some stalagmites and more of that red material. What inspired this design is actually a painting, and it's a really popular painting. It's called The Creation of Adam or The Hand of God. People have kind of called it different things. It's by Michelangelo. For me, what I did is I took that image of just the hands and I turned it and then I stretched it so you have one at the top, one at the bottom. And then from there, I took the light rays that are stretching down like the hand would be, and then I took the devil hand, which is stretching up, obviously contrasting the other, and it puts you in this like dichotomy of them reaching each other. I probably look idiotic doing that right now. But the idea was that you would have that kind of in-between push and pull on both sides. And then the center area is kind of similar to like your sky, also your limbo, if you will, where you have your doves and you have your clouds, and it's all kind of like the in-between area. And EndlessPens has a lot of like Greek inspired stuff, so I wanted to go with the Greek naming, so like Elysium and Tartarus for your heaven and hell aesthetic. But they took what I had sent and did, and they made it better than I could have ever imagined. It's just fantastic. One big touch they did to this pen that's super important to me is a lot of brands, when they do like Raden, Mach-E, Urushi, what have you, they'll leave the grip black. And I don't like that. I like when there's more to it. On here, they did. They gave me more. They put the red material that they had on the top and bottom on here. And it just, to me, it makes a design complete to kind of cover that. Not cover everything, not every single inch has to have something on it, but just solid black throws off the rest of the aesthetic when you have so much going on. So I really like the way they did this, and I love it. Honestly, I'm really, really happy with how this looks. When it comes to nib options, you have your standard sizing like fine, medium, and broad, but the thing I pushed for with this is to have gold and steel nibs. Originally, the nibs were all gonna be gold, which is fine if that's what people want, but I pushed for them to buy steel nib units so we could have the option. It's already an expensive pen, and I get that, but if you wanted to maybe save a little bit more so you could still get it, I pushed for it and they said they would do it. So we do have the option for gold nibs and steel nibs on this. Right now I have the gold nib in here, and this is actually the first gold nib I've used from Cypress. I own probably 4 or 5 of their pens, so I've already tried the steel, so I'm excited to try out the gold now with everybody here. And then every one of these pens is a cartridge converter pen. It comes with a converter already installed in it. The ink I'm going to be using for my writing sample is Oxblood. This pen has red on it, but it also kind of just fits the theming a little bit in some sort of different kind of way. I think it's going to look really good in this pen. Overall, the writing experience for this nib was a bit surprising. I've used the steel nib, like I said in the past. I've never used the gold nib. And what stood out to me with the gold nib is there's a decent amount of flex here. This pen really can flex. Obviously, I wouldn't expect people to push it super heavy. Don't try to do that. But it gets some nice flourish. I was really, really shocked by that. The writing experience beyond that was very similar to the steel, but I am just noticing that right out the gate. I was just shocked. When it let me do that, I was like, no way, it can actually do this. Other than that, this writes a lot like any other Cypress you've ever used. It's really nice, and I have to give them credit. What I love about their nibs is they don't just like engrave their nib, their design and logo and everything, it's actually stamped into it, which is just nice. It always looks the most clean that way. Since there is only 12 of this pen, I don't expect it to stay in stock long, unfortunately. And then why I went with the number 12, in the Greek lore, there's 12 main like deities. So I wanted to kind of, again, encompass that Greek theming, which is so popular at Hatch and EndlessPens. And then finally, this pen will be releasing Friday on EndlessPens website. It will be $1,400 for the gold nib and then $1,150 for the steel nib. It's obviously a steep jump down if you want to go steel, which I think is a really good option. That's why I pushed for it. But I understand if people just want to stick with gold. It's an Urushi pen. You want the high end all around. I totally get it. All that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you, Cypress, for giving me the opportunity. And thank you, Hatch, for just accepting my pitch, to be honest with you. I didn't know what goes into like Urushi and Raden and Maki and stuff. I can just visualize it. So I took more of an artistic approach than a practical one. When I sent my design, if they would have told me this isn't possible, I honestly wouldn't have been that shocked. That being said, though, again, thank you, everyone. And I hope if you're wanting this pen, you're able to get one for yourself. Goodbye. On the inside, though, is where we have my design. I feel like Hannibal when I say that.